All right, welcome into episode 19 of Glory, Glory, and Roll Tide. And there, unfortunately, is going to be no glory for either of us or the SEC this year. Again, do we need to admit that the Big Ten is better?
They're top heavier.
Yes, very much so.
I think bottom to top, I don't think they're better, but somebody will say, "Oh, the bowl records." Dude, no one watches a bowl game.
No.
So, maybe 20 years ago I cared about bowl records. They don't matter. They're completely irrelevant.
No, I agree. Because of what we talked, and it was like, what, Penn State second string versus Clemson second string, and I don't even know how to actually judge that. I don't know how many people sat out of the Tennessee game, but I don't really care. And we talked about the matchups that the SEC had to face versus what the Big Ten had to face too.
And I wasn't pulling for Tennessee either way. So
right, and nobody actually is, and so everybody was actually happy that Illinois won. I say that jokingly, but legitimately, we said a couple weeks ago, and because a guy in your church, had came up to you and said, "Sig's the best one in the game." Do we need to reevaluate that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We might be close.
Because I just don't want to be like that one guy that I sent you on Instagram the other day, where he said that the Indiana would lose by 28 to any SEC school that they faced.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone could beat Indiana by a point right now. Which, and it's like we talked about maybe a month ago. People are caught up on logos. Logos
Very much so.
Don't matter anymore.
Very much so.
So, yeah, I hope a lot of people are going to get really used to seeing Indiana at the top of a ranking that's not basketball. But they hadn't been top of basketball.
They hadn't been top of basketball for a while.
So it's funny that they're a football school now.
Yeah, it's wild. It was interesting because when I was watching Indiana, Oregon, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I really hope the Gumps shut up now. And I'm a big Alabama fan. I got my freaking, here's my Alabama season ticket renewal right here. Got it in the mail yesterday or Saturday. But I was watching and I was like, I hope the Gumps actually realize now, what happened in the Rose Bowl was not a fluke. That was not the Alabama just quit. They're just not good. No, Indiana's freaking legit. And I didn't give them enough credit. But you watch them now and you're like, no, that team's pretty good.
Yeah, they're fundamentally sound football. They might be the most fundamentally sound football team in the history of fundamentals.
In the history of fundamentals. Well, it's interesting because, a lot of people, the guy that tweeted this, I don't think he actually meant it in any negative way towards Indiana, because Cincinnati's doing what you should be doing here. You've got a way to win. You've got a way to give yourself an advantage. And so he did it. But looking at, and now I can't find it. You're telling me I got rid of this? But how long a lot of these guys for Indiana have been playing college football is just wild. I've got a buddy here that I know I sent this to, because even he sent me a text on Friday. He's like, I didn't think Indiana was this good. I was like, buddy, they're good. They are really good. Also, yeah, Indiana starters and what year of college football they're in. I'm not going to read all the names, but we'll go year 4, year 5, year 6, year 6, year 4, year 2, year 4, year 4, year 4, year 4, year 5, year 5, year 6. That's on offense. On defense, you go year 5, year 4, year 4, year 2, year 2, year 4, year 4, year 3, year 4, year 3, year 6. If you put up a 6th-year senior against a true sophomore, we'll say a defensive back, I don't know what year, but a super senior or a 6-year senior against Ryan Williams ain't got a chance, because that guy has played so much football and watched so much film. Doesn't matter how good Ryan Williams is. Doesn't matter how good Jeremy Bernard is. That guy's going to be ahead of him. And that's not Indiana cheating. That's Indiana taking advantage of the system, because the NCAA screwed everything up. Because I promise you Saban would be doing the same thing. Kirby would be doing the same thing. The problem that I think Saban and Kirby have that Cignetti does not is Saban and Kirby were able to do it with 4 and 5 stars that couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Now those guys are leaving, and so now they're having to backfill with 4 and 5 stars that are freshmen that don't have the experience. Signetti's able to bring 3 stars in that just want to play ball, that just want to win, that just want to be developed. And that's exactly what's happening because like those guys are going out and balling.
And it's not even saying that like Indiana's the most talented team. I don't think they are.
Talent wise, no.
I think they're the best team.
Yes.
Like as a group of how many guys can be on a college roster? I don't know.
Like
53 is in the
100 and
NFL.
something now.
But
It's
right.
insane.
So whatever number of guys as a unit, they're the most complete, sound as one team.
Yeah. And like they don't care. Their goal is to win, and they don't care how it gets done.
I hope
And
they do because I don't like Miami. So
who plays quarterback for Miami?
Sid the Sloth.
Didn't he go to school somewhere?
I don't know. Probably he wanted to go to a school that has his basketball girlfriend was at. Then he got his car stolen and his girl.
And then he lost his girl. Serious question, because I kind of you posted how ESPN and company was giving Carson Beck like a sob story.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like Carson Beck
As a player,
as a quarterback for Georgia?
well, sometimes, sometimes when he played Tennessee, I loved him
Right. Who wouldn't?
because he looked like a first round, day one, top 3 pick every single time he played Tennessee. My problem with him was his inconsistencies. I don't think he fit Georgia. I don't think he necessarily. I mean, he wanted to be there. Obviously, I mean, he stayed there under. He was like 4th on the chart at one point because he had to go through Stetson, and then I think Dewan Mathis was there, and
Where did he end up? He disappeared off the face of the earth.
No clue. He disappeared right after they showed him on the sideline throwing that pass into that person's head.
He gets roasted still to this day for that.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen. But I mean, you can't sit there and say, "Oh well, Carson didn't want to be there." He did. He sat under Stetson, knowing he wasn't going to get the job after that. And he waited. He got his turn. He played really well. He won an SEC championship. But I mean, when it came down to it, he was at that age where you going into his last year, right? A lot of people picked him to be a Heisman candidate. He was a first round projected quarterback. I'm sure Mel Kiper had him on his big board somewhere in the first day, but it just didn't pan out. He didn't really fit Georgia. He doesn't fit Georgia like Gunnar Stockton does. I'm not saying Gunner's a better quarterback. I'm saying Gunner is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Gunner's Georgia.
There might be some people that don't understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
Right. Like
because
he's from Georgia.
Right.
and that's all he knows. That's all he cares about. That's how Stetson was.
Well, when I think of Jake Fromm, Carson Beck, Stetson Bennett, Gunnar Stockton, Carson Beck is kind of the one that just doesn't fit in those 4. And so I totally understand what you're saying. Take a wild guess at where Dewan Mathis is.
I've looked it up a few times. I can't remember.
He's playing D2 ball.
Still?
Yeah. He was on the 2025 roster. He was playing for Davenport. He apparently went to Temple. I knew he transferred out.
Then he played like wide receiver.
Yeah, he played wide receiver there, but is now playing quarterback, or did play quarterback for Davenport. He played in 8 games, played in 8 games, threw for 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I think this might be like a good example of kind of almost what I want to lean into. And I wasn't even planning. I don't think I was actually planning on talking about this today, but a lot of people will say, look at the roster that Bama has. Like, why aren't they any good? And it's like, well, okay, well, let's think about this. Like, let's logically think about this. I know what the star rating says, but let's think about this. Jam Miller.
Mm-hmm.
How many running back in the SEC would you take over Jam Miller? Would you take Jam Miller or Kejuan Lacey from Ole Miss?
Dude from Ole Miss.
Yeah. Would you take Jam Miller or Ahmad Hardy from Mizzou?
I didn't watch much Mizzou football, so I don't think I can speak on that.
Well, that dude ran for like 300 yards multiple times this year.
So probably him.
Yeah. Would you take Jim Miller or even Jeremiah Cobb from Auburn? I would probably take Jeremiah Cobb. That's probably blasphemy, but I probably would. Now, I say that because Jeremiah Cobb transferred to my App State dynasty on college football 26 and helped me win the Fun Belt, make it to the playoffs. So maybe I'd just lean more towards Jeremiah Cobb for there. Wide receivers. Would you take Ryan Williams or Zachariah Branch?
Zachariah Branch.
Right. Would you take Ryan Williams or Cam Coleman?
Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman. Would you take? I don't know what Ole Miss's like number one receiver is, but like that dude breaks one. It seems like every game. Going to take him. Even quarterback. Like no disrespect to Ty Simpson. In October, you 100% take Ty Simpson. But then we get halfway through, or then you start to get in November, and obviously he's beat up. But then from there, it's like, no, I'm going to take Gunner over Ty Simpson. I'm going to take. Look at the playoff teams. You going to take Fernando Mendoza or Ty Simpson? Are you going to take Trinidad Chambliss or are you going to take Ty Simpson?
Dude, why he was at Ferris State?
Mind-boggling.
Dude, holy cow, that kid can play. And you talk about just a crazy year for that kid. He had no NFL prospects.
Zero.
If he comes out, he'd be a day 2 pick.
But that all goes back, and that kind of feeds into this too. It's like, guys, like, I don't care what the stars say. Look at Elijah Surratt was a 0-star for Indiana, went to JMU, and now he's a dude you don't want to see lined up on the other side.
Yeah, he'll be a day 1 pick.
Right. And so
or
it's
early
just,
day 2.
It's one of those, I don't care what the stars say. You really don't know what any of these people are like. If you thought roster, like, it's look at the draft too. How many top first round draft picks do not pan out? And it's because, guys, like once they actually get to that level, the game changes in such a way that it weeds out people very quickly. And I think that's what's happened in Alabama. And a lot of people are like, it's DeBoer's fault. No, it's not. A lot of these guys are holdovers from Saban's years that just he missed on. And that's okay, guys, because how many did he hit on prior to that? But that's where it's like you've got to be a little forgiving and a little understanding in kind of this transition, especially from the style of player that Saban wanted versus the style of player that DeBoer wanted. And people are like, well, they're not mentally tough. Did you watch the last 3 years of Saban's teams? They weren't nearly as mentally tough as what they had been in their reason too.
I think what NIL is showing is that a 5-star that doesn't want it is not better than a 2-star that does.
Right. And
once these guys get their money, they stop.
And I don't know if I was having this conversation with you or not. And I was after DeBoer was hired, so it was well before we started doing this. But I was looking at it because if you looked at the roster talent according to 247, it said Washington wasn't any good. It said Washington, like talent-wise, was on par with North Carolina. And North Carolina sucked that year. Like Mac Brown got fired or was on the verge of getting relieved of duties. And Kalen DeBoer takes Washington to the national title game. But I was looking at that. I was like, I think people are going to be disappointed because it seems like DeBoer is going to be better with 3 and 4 stars with 1 or 2 5-stars mixed in than a bunch of 4 and 5 stars, because now all of a sudden those 4 and 5 stars want to be big, want to be the guy. And then all of a sudden when they're not the guy, it's like, well, I'm out of here. And I'd rather have a 3-star that is committed to Alabama and wants to learn, doesn't mind sitting, like just wants to play ball, than have a 5-star that's jumping. Or you look at, or even the running back issue that they just had. They had Hollywood Smothers transfer over from NC State, and then the next thing you know, he's taking a visit to Texas because he wants more money, and now all of a sudden he's at Texas. It's like, I don't want that guy. Like, sure, he's very good statistically, but if that's how he's going to be, that's not the type of person that I think DeBoer wants playing for him, and that's not who the fan base wants. And people can be like, Bama needs to fork over money. Then that starts with you guys. If Georgia wants to land Cam Coleman, guess what they need to do? They need to spend more money. And does Kirby Smart actually want to spend more money? Does Kirby Smart actually want to develop these guys? Sure, he would 100. No, there's nobody out here or out there that would not take Cam Coleman. But if Cam Coleman's just in it for a bag, Kirby Smart don't want him.
Right. That's what it is. That's why now Caleb Downs is an incredible player.
Yes.
That's why he's at Ohio State. That's
Yeah.
why he didn't come back to Georgia.
Why he didn't stay at Alabama because he went to Alabama because Saban was there. Saban left, he left.
I
And
didn't know
so
that about that NC State back.
yeah,
I thought he was
he was enrolled at Alabama. Still went on his visit to Texas, and then was like, never mind, I'm going to Texas.
Lamborghini money.
Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those. It's like, you almost have to start recognizing as and I can't stand this. Look, you and I were talking this morning. NIL was supposed to be Todd Gurley doesn't get suspended for signing autographs. Like, doesn't lose 3 games of a year for signing autographs and getting $50 for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody's going to be like, it was more than $50. That's not the point. But that was the whole point of NIL, was so that Todd Gurley does not get suspended. But now all of a sudden, it's turned into the highest bidder, and that's just you're gonna see small and big market teams. The Sun is doing some wild stuff. Looks like Gabriel's about to come through my doorway and give me a message. But you're gonna have to start admitting that A&M, Texas, probably any school in Texas, really, and a lot of these schools that you don't think should be buyers or you should be getting outbid by, you're going to get outbid by. And so it's going to be interesting going forward to see what Bama and Georgia do, because Bama and Georgia are, in relative terms, small market team.
And I made the joke this morning. Like, I thought we all agreed to just pillage the little schools.
Right. We were supposed to take from Georgia Southern.
Right.
We're supposed to take from Alabama A&M.
But apparently it's open season on everybody, which, I mean, it's what they created, so I guess you got to live with it.
Well, and you have a lot of people. I know some Bama fans are upset about some of the guys that they've lost, and it's just like, well, guys, you've also got to accept if you're a small market team and you've got a D tackle saying, I want this sort of money, and you look and you're like, well, that sort of money needs to correspond with this sort of production, and you're not producing at that, so why in the world would I give you this money?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got to walk. And so I think what Bama and Georgia, I think, are going to be interested in. I don't know what Georgia's portal stuff is. I'm just saying Georgia because this is a Bama and Georgia podcast. But I think what Bama and Georgia are going to have to kind of look into is we need a core, and we need to build around that core. So you look at like what the Braves did. You lock in Acuna, you locked in Albies, you locked in Riley, and then you got Olsen and you ended up locking him in. Now it's like, all right, now we need a shortstop. He doesn't need to be a big name shortstop, but he needs to be somebody that we can rely on, can hit for a little bit, good glove. They've missed on that, but like I think that's the mindset that some of these schools are going to have to take. Otherwise, they're going to be trying to compete with Dodger money, and they ain't got Dodger money
How many do?
because you're looking at, apparently, according to AL.com, Ty Simpson is being offered $6.5 million to transfer, even though he's already declared for the draft. And that means Ty Simpson makes more money than Jackson Dart and Bo Nix.
Right, and
Both those guys play in the NFL.
And they were both first rounders, weren't they?
Yeah, and Bo Nix happens to be, aren't the Broncos the #1 seed in the AFC? Like, you're telling me Ty Simpson deserves more money than Bo Nix? If I was Kalen DeBoer and Ty Simpson said I need 6.5 to stay, I'd be like, the door's right there.
Have fun in the league.
Yeah, like
I'll
bye.
be a backup.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Man, I'd hold a clipboard for any amount of money. So
Right, like I'd love to have Chase Daniels' career. That guy was had the best career, but demanding, like, I don't understand why these schools are paying NFL money for a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the problem. That all the schools that have caused this is completely and utterly a disaster. There needed to be a cap. These guys can't be making NFL money in college. It's ridiculous.
Well, they're trying to make NFL money. They're trying to make NFL money in college, and then they're also trying to stay an extra year, and then they're also able to transfer year in and year out. And it's like the whole whole system is an absolute disaster now. The problem is you've got somebody like me who gets his Alabama season ticket renewal, and it's like, sweet, looking forward to next year because I still love college football. I don't like this part of college football at all. I don't like that I have no idea who's going to be on the team. Like there are some guys that I really like that are transferring out. James Smith is one of them. Cole Adams is another. Cole Adams is going to your secondary school, your side team. If this was a Dr. Pepper commercial, and I think Cole Adams is going to be very good. When he transferred, there was just not a spot in the wide receiver room for him now, but now there is because a couple other guys have left. But it's just one of those instances where it's just like, man, like this just sucks. And it's not me being bitter that guys are leaving. It's just like I missed the time when it was just I could see John Mechie play for 4 years and not have to worry about him leaving.
Yeah, it's really weird, Zachariah Branch declared, and there was a video of a kid that was crying. Dude's been here a year.
Right.
Like, I don't care.
Right.
It's really turned into, and I think you've gotten on to me a couple times. I don't know the majority of the guys on the Georgia team. I don't really care to because they're not going to be here next year, and I'm not going to waste my time learning them. If it's big guys like Gunner, he'll stay. I care about him. Frazier, I like him. Hope he doesn't leave for Ohio State.
Yeah, like what the heck's that about?
That would be nuts. But I mean, you got some big names, but then you got guys like, oh yeah, where did he play last year? I don't care. They need to do contracts, multi-year.
Well, that's what I've never understood. I don't understand like why you can't like if you're bringing in somebody, it's like all right, this is a 3-year deal. Like because 3 years you can leave after your junior year and go pro if you want to. Some guys are able to graduate in 3 years because of how their class schedule is set up, and so then you can still kind of go play somewhere else. But yeah, I don't understand why nobody's kind of turned it into a contract and why there is no buyout, why there is no um we talked about this earlier. This would be more for like the App States and Georgia Southerns of the world, but it's just all right,
Sort of compensation for these schools.
right.
They
Like
did all the
it's
work.
right, they did. Because you've literally got like Nevada, like his recruiting pitch is, hey, you wanted to go to Oregon? All right, well, come play with me. We'll get you numbers. And then Oregon's going to need a wide receiver there. And like, that's just, it sucks because next year, if his roster gets poached, all of a sudden he's out of a job. Well, if he's a pretty good coach, that sucks for him. It's not his fault that his team was poached. And like, this is the beauty and sadness of this is just or the beauty and whatever. I don't even remember what I was saying. Because it's one of those. I have no my issue with the transfer. Here's what I would do if I was in charge of college football. My transfer portal rule: you get one, and I think Calipari said something very similar to what I actually agree with. You get one free transfer. I have no problem with one free transfer because sometimes, and I know
Just
this
don't
from
work out.
experience, it doesn't work out. Your coach lied to you. Um, you're told, hey, you're the only linebacker we're bringing in this class. That's how much we believe you. And then all of a sudden you get there and there's 3 other freshmen, and you're just like, what? Or you get hurt and you lose your job to somebody, and there's no chance of getting in. So completely understand. I have no problem with one free transfer because we've all taken a job where we hated our boss
Yeah.
and you wanted to find something else. So I have no problem with a free transfer. If you want to transfer after that, then it's got to go back to the old rule where you got to sit out a year. But I would almost argue you lose that year of eligibility. In the past, you'd sit out a year, but you'd still have that year of eligibility. But I'd almost say you sit out a year and you lose that year of eligibility. The only exception of a second transfer that I would do is if you have graduated. If you have graduated, then you have done your due. You have paid your dues to the school, so to speak. And you want to go somewhere else for grad school or whatever, ain't got a problem with it. But that's the only way that I could see a two transfer thing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I've talked to a few different people, and I like to ask that question a lot. Where what would you change? I'm trying to remember what one person has told me because it was an idea I've never thought of. I could probably go back and find it and bring it up next time we talk. But um, I think the one free one is the way to do it. It's going to be the easiest way to get people to sign off on it.
Well, it's so wild, I think, to hear when Calipari is saying this, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
this dude made a living off the one and done system, so he already knows how to win in this, and
And that's what this has turned into, and I
it's
absolutely
awful.
hate every single bit of it.
It's awful. Well, that's really all I have. I don't even know if I have anything else. I did say Cam last Thursday that Cam Coleman was visiting Alabama. Said I didn't expect him to. I thought it would be funny, but he did commit to Texas too, right? Isn't that what I saw? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Texas has turned into the Dodgers trying to load up on as much talent as they possibly can. I hope for their sake that it doesn't work out. And I also said on Thursday when you weren't here that we'll probably go to once a week now that it's to quote Josh Fate here, the off season. But since Bama and Georgia ain't playing, I don't really know what we can talk about 2 times a week.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Basketball, I guess.
You don't know anything about basketball.
No, but I've been to a ton of games this year.
You have. And your team and side team are actually pretty good.
Yeah, no. Georgia's looking good, and Vanderbilt's still undefeated.
You've been to an Alabama basketball game?
Been to Alabama. Been to 20 games in a week. Let's see, what else have I done? Kentucky Gonzaga. That was a disaster of a game in Nashville.
Mm.
That was really, really brutal. Yeah, going to another game next week. Go Mocs.
Who are they playing?
Anyone's in? I don't know. I just looked it up a minute ago. I don't remember.
I guess I should know. I don't.
Played the Furman University Christian Knights last week.
For those of you that don't get that joke, just spell it out. Because they are not the Christian Knights. This is not their
Paladins.
formal name. Yes. All right, cool. Well, I guess we'll talk to y'all next week. Yeah, roll time.
Go Dogs.